Everybody, Cory from the Chamber here. I just wanted to go over with you for a few minutes the results of this survey. This is our big survey that we just did. The survey was called Consumer Attitudes About Masks and Social Distancing in Maine Businesses. You may have read about it, you may have seen the report. It's about 32 pages. I know some people have heard about it, but I wanted to go through it here bit by bit just to give you an idea of some of the results, because I really do think it's so important, and I think videos are better for some people. So give me 5 or 6 minutes here and I will go over some of this with you. So what is the survey? The survey was, we asked consumers in Maine businesses how they feel about social distancing and masking and how important it is to them. And the reason we did that is because we had so many businesses that said, we had so many social media posts that we saw of people saying, oh, I've gone into this business, they weren't social distancing, I'm not going to go there again. And so we wanted to see, yes, that's an interesting anecdote, but how prevalent really is that? And does it matter how old you are? Does it matter where you live in the state and all those things? And so we were hoping for 500 respondents. We got close to 3,000. So that was pretty major. And what we did with the results is we took all 3,000 results and we put them through 5 iterations of answers. So one iteration was no filter. It was just the overall answer. So all 39 results. And that overall number gave us a baseline for how people feel. Then we also asked people, what county do you reside in, or are you not from Maine? What age group do you fall into? Do you know somebody with COVID or COVID complications? And do you know somebody in the high risk pool? So from that, we broke down the answers of the other questions with that. So what are some of the big takeaways from the survey? The first 5 questions that we asked about social distancing pieces, we asked about different aspects of what's important to folks. Interestingly, the cleaning of high-touch surfaces became the one of the 5 that outperformed everyone else, where we asked people to rank it on extremely important, very important, somewhat important, not important at all, no opinion, hadn't really thought about it. So that was the 5 places they could have gone with their answers. And so we totaled this question by looking at those that just answered extremely important or very important. And 70.7% of people said that the cleaning of high-touch surfaces was important to them. The next closest was employees wearing masks, which was about 60% that said it was extremely or very important to them. That doesn't mean that others didn't say that it was somewhat important, because they certainly did. And if you included that, we ended up having basically about 30 to 35% of most of those questions of people that said it was not at all important. So you're still seeing 65 to 70%. Just looking at the answers here, on employees wearing masks, 32% said it was not at all important, which means 68% said it was. 33% on customers wearing masks said it wasn't important. Only 11% said that cleaning of high-touch surfaces isn't important. And then also about social distancing. And the last one was, having signage on the door. Again, less than 30% said it was not important at all. So 60 to 70% of people said that it was important, but cleaning of high-touch surfaces, employees wearing masks and customers wearing masks were the top 3, with signage and social distancing just behind them. Actually, signage and customers wearing masks were almost identical, just a half a point difference. So that's interesting that people find that the high touch cleaning of surfaces is important. When we found that that's not really transmittal, but it might also be because cleaning of high touch surfaces is the least new social distancing piece, where employees wearing masks, signage, social distancing, customers wearing masks, those are all a bit newer, where cleaning of high-touch surfaces is something that you think is happening all along. One of the biggest takeaways from the surveys came through questions 10 through 13. So one of the big talking points, which you may have heard me talk about before, is a quarter of all survey respondents said they have left a business they intended to purchase something at. because they didn't feel safe, because they saw unsafe social distancing practices happening. An additional 25% said that they would leave a business if they were put in that situation. The exact numbers there, 26.1% said yes, 24.8% said they would. So overall, that's 50.8% when you do the rounding off. Anyway, or 50.9% of people said that they have or they would leave a business if they saw unsafe social distancing behaviors, which means you're potentially losing half of your customers if you're not paying attention to social distancing. That's a huge number. Just to follow up, and then we'll move on to another video for the second half recap. Question 11 asks the question: have you vowed not to return to a business? So that's different. Question 10 asks, did you leave? Immediately. And then this one says, have you vowed that you won't return? And again, the numbers were almost the same, 28.7% and 21.8% said. So that's 50.5% said they have or they would vow not to return to a business. So that's really important and instructive to say that you could be losing half your customers if you're not paying attention to this. So video number 2 coming right up.